I'm sure we all love a good meme within the New Vegas community, and I'm pretty sure that everyone can agree that Big Iron is one of, if not the biggest meme within the community. It's a song about the Arizona Ranger fighting off some outlaws, and that's why I wanted to dedicate a run to Big Iron and ask if you can beat Fallout New Vegas as the Arizona Ranger. Getting the obvious out of the way by, of course, naming myself Arizona Ranger, I went off and assigned my specials, focusing mostly on endurance, intelligence, and luck, as I figured that was a good stat distribution for the Arizona Ranger. I thought that kind of reflected the stats pretty well, as well as agility for, obviously, guns, since I would be using the Big Iron. I chose guns, obviously, speech and medicine as my tag skills so that I could, be pretty proficient in any of the fields. Went with the modded trait Ranger and Skilled. Now, the reason I went with the trait Ranger is because I noticed this in one of my other New Vegas videos, but it actually gives you a unique 357 Magnum that is custom modeled right at the beginning of the game, called, you guessed it, Big Iron. This is what I was going to be using for the entire run. I was also going to be limiting myself to light armor only, such as leather armor or reinforced leather armor. No combat armor, no power armor, nothing of the sort. So once I'd geared up and bought some ammo from Chet and made sure that I was fully stocked on anything I would need, I tested out my gun on some powder gangers nearby, and it was pretty effective with some headshots, which is to be expected. It's a 357 Magnum after all. I got jump scared by one of the NCR troopers on my way over to Prim and started clearing out the convicts. I figured stopping by here was, a good idea, since if I'm cosplaying an Arizona Ranger, I should probably stop by and kill the people that could theoretically be labeled as outlaws. None of the convicts put up much of a fight, although I did nearly die a couple times, but I mostly leave that up to the fact that my leather armor broke at some point, so I was taking a lot more damage. Not to mention, somebody picked up an energy weapon from somewhere, which I didn't really have good defense against yet, but I actually didn't murder Deputy Beagle this time, because that doesn't really fit the whole aesthetic of the run, so I actually let him live, and then headed off towards Mojave Outpost so that I could get some troops over to Prim to help protect it. To me, siding with the NCR makes the most sense this run, as up by Mojave Outpost we have a statue of the NCR being friendly with the Desert Rangers, so I figure the Arizona Rangers can't be too far off of that, so I would just side with the NCR this run. I was pretty much out of ammo by the time I got up to Mojave Outpost, as I decided to fight some raiders and some rad scorpions, and by the time I made it up there, I had 2 bullets left. I talked to Ranger Jackson to get some quests so that I could help send troops to Prim, and then headed back to Chet to do some resetting so that I could get a good supply of ammo moving forward. There's not a whole lot of ammo available for me early game, so I'm going to be resetting a whole lot, but the ants didn't prove too much of an issue. They went down in 1 to 3 shots each, although I nearly wasted almost all my ammo before I was done. With that quest done though, I went back to Ranger Jackson and was able to secure some troop support for Prim, as I forgot that I had a magazine that would up my barter, so I didn't have to actually do that quest, but regardless, it was nice for a good chunk of little XP early on. I went back to Chet and did some more bartering because I was going to need more supplies going forward, and then decided that I was going to head off towards the strip and fight some Cazadors along the way. This did not go as expected because, goddamn Securitrons, man. I'm not even siding with Mr. House or Yes Man this run, and I still managed to get noob-tubed by a Securitron. Every single run. I also fought some Deathclaws because I figured, I don't actually usually fight Deathclaws in any of my runs. I think the only run I've actually fought Deathclaws in is my Lonesome Road run with the 9mm pistol. After that, I, for some reason, got ambushed by powder gangers that had laser and plasma weapons, which was terrifying. But other than the occasional group of raiders, fiends, and CR deserters, it was pretty boring on the rest of the way to the strip. I killed pretty much everyone in my way, though, because I wanted the experience and items to sell so that when I got to the gunrunners, I could buy a whole bunch of ammo. I underestimated how much ammo the gunrunners would actually stock before I got there, though, and by the time I made it over there, they only had roughly 70 rounds in stock. So I stopped in Freeside at Mick and Ralph's, which I never go to in any of the runs, to buy all the ammo they had, which put me up to a nice solid almost 150, not including the hollow points, which I would use on the Kings because, it's kind of tradition at this point to murder all them. It doesn't really fit the bill of being an Arizona Ranger because I don't really think the Kings have done anything to deserve just being murdered, but regardless, they all went down without too many issues. Everybody in there went down within 2 to 3 shots. Old Ben took 3 shots to the head, which was kind of surprising. I didn't actually expect him to be that tough. My first stop in the strip was killing off the Omertas because I really didn't feel like dealing with their questline. I don't normally do it because it's kind of boring and just walking around talking to people. I did manage to die here once, which was pretty surprising. I also had a seizure apparently. I killed Mr. Bushman on my way back in because he aggravated me with his presence, and the second time with the Omertas went much smoother. I didn't immediately get riddled with bullets and die almost instantaneously, being trapped behind the desk in the no-no corner, so it wasn't that bad this time around, and they dropped a bunch of good stuff to sell. Over to the tops, I did the normal route of just talking to Swank and getting Benny in his room, where I cyberbullied him with a bullet, and actually got lucky because the platinum chip decided to be on his body this time, so I didn't have to run around looking for it. Vulpus aggravated me as soon as I walked out of the tops, so I put a bullet in the back of his head, which was witnessed by an NCR trooper, so that probably got me some props with them. Moving on to go clear out the boomers, I harassed some of the kings again because they were in my way, and made a nice set of police brutality on George because he tried to run away from me, and we all know you're not allowed to run from cops. Once I'd made it into Nellis, I immediately ran over and saw that Pearl was off her meds, and I kind of felt bad bullying a senior citizen that clearly had dementia and forgot how to use her weapon. I put her out of her misery. There was no reason for her to suffer like that. Ambassador Crocker had absolutely nothing for me to do since I had already done both of his required quests, and I was off to be able to go talk to Cassandra Moore for other quests for the NCR. First things first though, I stocked up on a good amount of ammo again, bullied some more powder gangers on my way over towards Hidden Valley, which I was going to stop and discover for later so that I could deal with the Brotherhood in an easier manner, but I didn't really feel like going to Hoover Dam yet, so I stopped by the old Centaur pit and started murdering all the centaurs around here because they had a good amount of experience on them. I also stopped by Black Mountain so that I could murder Tabitha. I figured it was kind of necessary, plus I wanted the really good chunk of experience she gives after you complete Crazy. On my way over towards the Great Khans, which I would be dealing with next, before I go to Hoover Dam, I stopped by this big camp of raiders that I normally avoid and just kind of sat still in this one spot shooting for a while. The Great Khans didn't put up much of a fight. Papa went down in 2 shots. Everyone else went down in 1 to 2 shots for the most part, although I was using the hollow points, so I'm not sure if that had anything to do with it. I murdered pretty much everyone outside that got in my way because they deserved a bullet for being drug addicts. Don't do drugs, kids. Mr. House got booped in the head with a bullet, and then I was off towards my next set of adventures. Which was, Hoover Dam, since I hadn't made it over there yet. So I fast traveled back to Eldorado Substation since I had been there earlier, bullied a couple more raiders on my way over towards Hoover Dam, and just kind of spent the rest of the time quietly walking there, as I didn't really have any more issues on the way over there. There's not really any raiders around, but I was also pretty low on ammo again, so I talked to Colonel Cassandra, and would you guess that the goddamn cons aren't wiped out yet? I literally had to go back to Red Rock and kill 2 people, which aggravated the absolute shit out of me. I hate that this quest is so temperamental with the NCR. I went back to Chet and did some more restocking with ammo so that I could get all my stuff up. I also stopped by the Gunrunners and pretty much any other merchant that I could. Lied about the Omertas because I just slaughtered them for the fun of it, and then it was off to deal with the Brotherhood. Oh boy, the Brotherhood. This is probably one of the best runs I've had with the Brotherhood, even though my armor was complete shit. At this point, I had taken pretty much every good perk that I could use for a guns run, as well as had my gun skill at 100, so the Brotherhood were all going down in pretty much between 2 to 4 shots each. Some of them took upwards of 5 or 6, maybe if I didn't land good headshots or get crits, but I was landing crits frequently enough to make the Brotherhood quite a pushover. With any important personnel in the Brotherhood dead, I detonated the bunker, which was, normal. I have to do that for the NCR. I'm sure I'll be diplomatic with them one of these days. The sandstorm was also glitching out again. Of course, as soon as I got back to the dam, Malcolm Holmes was there, annoying me with his presence, so I booped him with a bullet. I was also able to buy a copious amount of ammo from Quartermaster Barden, which was fairly unnecessary as I'm at the last couple quests of the game at this point. I went up to do my least favorite quest in the NCR storyline. I absolutely hate this quest as it's literally just 10 minutes of sitting around. I did my normal spout of just grabbing the detonator and then running around in circles until I could talk to Ranger Grant about protecting the president. Once he let me do that, I had to wait for the vertibird to leave, so I just had fun swinging this dead ranger corpse around trying to throw it over the dam. I went back to talk to General Lee Oliver so that I could begin the last quest in the game, which was the second battle of Hoover Dam. The Legionaries were absolute pushovers. I mean, they're practically weaker Brotherhood members. If I can take out people in power armor in a couple shots, the Legion have absolutely no chance against me. I actually spent more time in here than I normally do, just absolutely killing everyone because I wanted to kind of help the NCR, and it was kind of fun fun to just murder everyone. I don't normally get a good enough weapon to just clear the Legion this easy on this quest, so it was nice to be able to just kind of kill everybody without any issues. I made it to the Legate's camp after a little bit, and the guards were pushovers as usual. The Legate, for some reason, glitched out, as usual. I don't know why he glitches out so often for me. I tried to pickpocket him, but he ran away like a little bitch. He went to the no-no corner, which is, you know, bad. You don't go to the no-no corner. I killed him almost instantly. He went down in about 5 shots, and then killed the rest of the guards around so that I could complete this section and talk to General Lee Oliver, which, after that, I had indeed beaten the game as an Arizona Ranger. This run was really fun. I think it really fit the theme of New Vegas well as well, and I mean, obviously the entire community knows Big Iron is a good meme, so pretty fun meme run. Wasn't too challenging. I only died, I think, at the Omertas, or maybe 1 or 2 other times that I can recall, but nothing too bad. But as always, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all the support. If you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments below. Also, be sure to check out my Patreon if you feel like supporting the channel that way, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.